Homecoming festivities dominate the weekend as an Explorer qualifies for Nationals in Indiana. Hello, I'm Brendan Rigney.
And I'm Madison Elliott, and you're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
We've got a great show for you today as Frank Andriola makes his SportsLine debut during Exploring Headlines. And later, STP's Tyler Harper joins us to get you ready for some LaSalle sports action in the marquee matchup.
That's right, Brennan. But first, let's catch up on what went down this past week for the fall athletes. Freshman Morgan Zeckley was at it again this past weekend at the Mid-Atlantic Regionals, finishing 6th place. The rookie ran the 6K in 20 minutes and 34 seconds. With this accomplishment, she became the first freshman in LaSalle history to qualify for the NCAA Women's Cross Country Championship National Meet. The next women to finish at the regional meet were Megan Connell, who placed 49th, Molly Mickle, and junior Becca Scardelletti. As a team, the women finished in 12th place out of 32 teams with 337 points. The bulk of the women's roster will race next at the ECAC meet, while Zeckley will be competing at Nationals in Indiana.
The men's cross-country team also ran in the Mid-Atlantic Regionals at Penn State. The 4 Explorers placed in the top 100, which helped LaSalle place 15th out of 25 teams. Senior Nico Greco led the men and came in with a time of 32 minutes and 23 seconds. The sophomores Chris Berry and Fran Ferruzzi finished close behind him with only seconds behind him. According to the coaching staff, however, illness is to blame for the decreased success of the men's team, who won the Atlantic 10 last year and finished 6th at regionals.
Traveling down to Virginia, the men's soccer team competed in the Atlantic 10 Conference Championship Tournament in Richmond. The Explorers faced a tough challenge in the second-seeded St. Louis Billikens. LaSalle fought hard, holding back St. Louis until the 30th minute, when Kingsley Bryce of the Billikens pushed the first goal of the game past Mike Kirk to put his team up 1-0. Unfortunately for the Explorers, 2 more goals followed before the end of regulation. Robert Christo of St. Louis scored twice, first at the 72-minute mark and again 8 minutes later. In the 88th minute, Joe Farrell put in a goal for the Explorers. However, it was too little, too late, as St. Louis knocked the blue and gold out of the tournament by a score of 3-1.
As of soccer players, LaSalle women's soccer struggled to score in their 2-0 loss to Rutgers University in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. The Scarlet Knights struck first just 3 minutes in the first half off a curveball kick from Amanda DeVolk. The second insurance goal came in the 54th minute from Stephanie Schultz off a blast to the far post. LaSalle goalkeeper Jessica Wiggins held her own in the net with 9 saves, but Rutgers prevailed with 17 shots on the night. The Explorers now bid farewell to the most successful class of women the program has seen in its 30-year history. The senior class accumulated 61 wins, 4 consecutive NCAA appearances, and 2 Atlantic 10 championships. But luckily, this isn't the last we'll see of the team. Sure enough, SportsLine's delightful Jacob Smolinski caught up with soccer star Jessica Kagan in this week's On the Sideline feature. Let's take a look.
Hi, this is On the Sidelines. I'm your host for today, Jake Smolinski, and we are here with star on the women's LaSalle soccer team, Jessica Kagan. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we wanted to talk to you a little bit. LaSalle women's soccer, we had an incredible season this year. I got to ask though, the season didn't exactly pan out how you guys planned it. How do you guys stay positive in that sort of regard?
In that regard, I mean, we all just have the mindset of playing for our seniors, and I think it just killed us all that we weren't able to win another A-10 championship or an NCAA game for them. But we look to the future because some of us do have another year, and we did make it so far. We make it to teams that LaSalle can only dream of. So, I mean, we really just look at how far we've come compared to like that we didn't make it. We just look to see, wow, like how much this program has actually made it over the years. So.
Yeah. And so talking about, so your game against Dayton, How was that game? That was a heartbreaker. That was tough.
Yeah, that was a really hard game, but we played them at Dayton early on in the season, and we beat them 1-0. So we knew going into that game that they were gonna want to kill us. And it was at their home field, like they did have the upper hand having it at their home field, and that we beat them in the final of the championship last year too. So we knew that they were gonna come out so hard and just wanting to gain that championship back. But I mean, it really was heartbreaking. It really was.
Because you guys had like straight A10 just championship after championship, and that's like the whole idea of like the price on your head and everything.
Yeah.
But you guys still got to go to the NCAA that bid, which is absolutely insane. Like I think at one point like LaSalle we were like ranked like 22nd in the nation.
Yeah. We were.
That was absolutely insane. So what is it like actually preparing for a game like that against Rutgers?
Playing against Rutgers, we've never played them in the season. We always play them in the spring. And I mean, they're a completely different team in the spring than they were when we played them that game. But I mean, we have to go into every game thinking that we're not automatically going to win this game. And I think we did have that mindset at some points that we're going to go into that game and say, hey, we're going to win. We're the best team. But clearly, like, it showed to us that you can't really do that. But they were a great team. I mean, on that given day, they just won. They were better than us. So.
Yeah, sometimes it just
it
doesn't exactly work how you plan.
Yeah.
But okay, but let's look back to the rest of the season though. You had a really awesome season following up Kelsey Haycock with the second goal scorer on the team with 6 goals in the season, 8 assists. I saw, like, seriously, your crosses were on point the entire season.
Thank you.
What is it like to have to, like, well, I guess just playing with a player like Kelsey Haycock in her senior season where she's really like looking to get it all?
Kelsey is just an amazing player. She's an amazing person off the field. She's an amazing player. And like I tell her all the time, I'm like, Kelsey, just look for the ball. I'm going to try and find you. Like, that was always my mindset. I was like, just find Kelsey, no matter if I have to put it in the air for her head or if I have to put it on the floor for that she could kick it in. But she's just an amazing player. She's probably the only player I've ever played with in my entire life that is just a natural goal scorer. And she could be anywhere in front of the net and the ball's going to go in. She's a great player. All
right, then so for next year, it looks like you might be looking to fill those shoes. How do you think that the team is going to respond to losing such like a really instrumental player like that? Because you guys do have a lot of really awesome players up top. You have like Paige McDowell, that's another young one.
Yeah.
You, Miriam Husseini, all those guys. What's going to be the plan for next year?
For next year, we already know that we're going to have everyone on the team is going to have huge shoes to fill with Kelsey leaving, Miriam leaving, Wiggy, our goalie, leaving. So we all know we're going to have huge shoes to fill. So it's just every player needs to have the mindset that like we're going to work just as hard as our seniors did, and we're just going to leave it all out there because we know that we don't have Kelsey to rely on anymore. So I mean, collectively as a whole now, more people have to step up, and that includes me as well.
Definitely. Seriously, awesome season and everything. That was.
Thank you.
It was well done. And one of our favorite questions we like to ask on SportsLine, though, is what is your favorite Disney movie?
I don't like Disney movies.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
This is a first
oh my
in
God,
SportsLine history.
I know. I feel so bad. Everyone talks about Disney movies, but I'm really sorry. I don't like them. I've never liked Disney movies.
I'm in awe right now. Oh. This is the first person on SportsLine.
I don't like that.
No.
You're at a loss for words.
Listen, the thing is, Rohan Brown, he's the guy that came up with this question. He's on the basketball team. He would be so disappointed in you.
I'm
right
sorry,
now.
Rohan.
No.
Yeah, it's just.
But anyway, another. Okay, so I guess another classic question.
Okay, redemption.
Yes, redemption question. This year for the women's soccer team, did you have any embarrassing moments on the field?
Me? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I yell at the ref a lot, so that could be really embarrassing. People know me as being a complete diva on the field, so I mean, that could be pretty embarrassing when people come up to our coaches and is like, what was number 16 saying? And I'm like, I was telling him to have a good day. But when I was really young.
You have to make yourself heard on the field. No, especially like just with, so honestly, thank you though for coming out today for SportsLine. It was awesome to hear a bit about the season and everything. And so that is it for On the Sidelines. I'm your host, Jacob Smolinski, and we will see you guys back again. Back to you guys.
Jumping from the field to the pool, the men's swimming and dive team took down George Mason to keep the winning streak alive. Sophomore Matisse Glenesk finished with a pair of victories in the 500 and 1,000-yard freestyle. Freshman Fabian Bergman had 3 first-place finishes on the day during the 100 and 200-yard backstroke, as well as the 200-yard individual medley. The freshman finished ahead of second place by just 0.67 seconds during the 200-yard medley. Also contributing to the win for the Explorers was junior Justin Hughes, who placed first in the 200-yard freestyle, and junior Johan Roth, who was victorious in the 200-yard breaststroke.
Following up the men's domination over George Mason, the women's swim and dive team managed to do the same with a win of 168 to 132 against GMU. The Explorers proved to be a powerhouse for the second consecutive meet, led by none other than junior Kelsey Jenkinson. She went back-to-back with individual wins in the 1 and 200-yard breaststrokes with times of 1 minute and 5.53 seconds and 2 minutes and 21.52 seconds. As for long distance, freshman Emma Smith scored 2 individual victories in the 500 and 1,000-yard freestyles. The wins kept flowing as Katie Hay reeled in her own in the 100-yard freestyle and was a contributing leg in the 400-yard freestyle relay. Following that up, Chelsea Curran scored a tight win for the 100-yard backstroke by edging out teammate Natalie Suminek by 0.05 of a second. The Explorers bring their record to 4-3 as they head into the densest part of their season.
Sticking around the Heyman Center, homecoming took place over LaSalle this weekend as the men's basketball team opened up their season against Colgate. Check out all the action from the anticipated premiere of the 2014-15 squad.
You know homecoming is going to be a serious game when the Gola is sold out. And on Saturday, November 15th, the arena was filled to the brim with blue and gold fans as the Explorers commenced their season against Colgate. Going into the game, even with a successful scrimmage against Philly U earlier in the week, how the Explorers would play under regular season pressure was unsure. And one word to describe the opening game against the Raiders: scrappy. A gritty matchup, the Explorers faced off against last year's 13th nationally ranked three-point shooting team of Colgate with hard-knuckle defense right from the start. However, the Raiders put serious pressure on the blue and gold in the first quarter as they jumped out to an early 13-6 lead. But the defensive effort of Jarrell Wright and Amar Stukes quickly managed to corral the Raiders with serious turnover game. A low-scoring start, LaSalle's Khalid Lewis and Jordan Price managed to bring the score up to 22-21 by the end of the first half. And the first half wasn't exactly pretty, but as the Explorers made the transition into the second half, we got to see some exciting prospects. Redshirt freshman Amar Stukes came out to prove himself as he not only helped lead the defensive front, but also dominated offensively in the second half. Even though he only scored 10 points in the game, he made the points in clutch situations and is looking like the guard that the team really needs this season. With the help of 8 points in the second half by Stukes and Jarrell Wright's consistent play, the Explorers paced Colgate into a level-headed 57-52 win. And to paraphrase Coach G after the game, it may have not looked pretty, but it's a win. Standouts in the game were Wright with his first double-double on the season with 13 rebounds and 10 points, Lewis with 9 points, Stukes stepping up with 57% in the field for 10 points, and DJ Peterson playing a supporting role with no turnovers and 4 assists. It looks like this year's Explorers have a very different tone and style of play from last season, and it can only progress as the season moves on. But definitely, the word to describe the team right now is scrappy. Hey, and that's exactly what got us to the Sweet 16 2 years ago. So for now, let's see if the Explorers can keep on grinding out the wins.
Following the homecoming victory, a road game against Quinnipiac brought the Explorers new challenges. Dominant forward Jarrell Wright warmed the bench the second half, reportedly due to lower back tightness. Wright's injury forced Coach Giannini to rely on another Explorer to carry the scoring load. Picking up the slack was redshirt junior Jordan Price. Price scored 18 points in the game, but more importantly scored 13 of those after halftime. His final 2 points came at the foul line with 3.2 seconds left in the second half, and the victory riding on his shoulders. Price came up strong and brought home the win for LaSalle after they trailed by an 11-point deficit.
The women's basketball team also debuted this weekend, competing in back-to-back Big Five matches against the Temple Owls and the friendly Penn Quakers. The Explorers opened their season with a frustrating 75-72 loss to the Temple Owls. The blue and gold averaged just under 40% from the field Friday evening, with sophomore forward Micaiah Owens netting 18 points and grabbing herself 4 boards. Despite a sloppy first half, The Explorers found themselves down only 11 entering intermission. In the second half, they battled back and forced the game to hinge on free throws. Temple's Fayonda Fitzgerald scoring the go-ahead basket with a minute 46 remaining and going 1 for 2 from the charity line.
The Explorers took the court again on Wednesday night in their home opener against familiar rival Penn. The Quakers were able to contain the Explorers' homecoming excitement, limiting the blue and gold to just 22% shooting in the 57-29 loss. Siobhan Beslow led the Explorers in points, recording 7 while going 5 for 6 from the line. The Quakers started early and stayed late Wednesday evening, going 55% from the floor.
With all the action at the Gola, the women's volleyball team headed out to Dayton, Ohio on Friday to take on their A10 rivals, the Dayton Flyers. Home court advantage was clearly demonstrated by the host team. The Flyers started moving quickly against the Explorers in set 1 and never let up, winning 25-13. The second set was almost identical as the Flyers continued their relentless pace, leading early and holding on for the second set victory, 25-11. The bad luck continued coming out of the break for LaSalle, unable to overcome any deficit during the frame. The blue and gold dropped a third set by a score 25-15. The Explorers were limited to only 11.5 blocks as a team in the losing effort.
Just 2 days later, the volleyball squad traveled to St. Louis, Missouri, to take on the Billikens in the final game of their season. The Explorers fell in straight sets to the Billikens by scores of 25-17, 25-18, and 25-20. LaSalle finished the season with a 10-21 record, going 3-11 in A10 play. However, this was the winningest season for the Explorers since 2007. Junior setter Michelle Healy finished the match with 24 assists, giving her exactly 1,000 on the year. She's the first LaSalle setter since Caitlin Connor in 2006 to record at least 1,000 assists in a season. Senior Jennifer Whelan played in her final game as an Explorer, finishing with a team-high 7 kills. Well, that does it for the game and match recaps. Stick around, though, because when we return after this commercial break, we'll be exploring some headlines, so stay tuned.
You tired of your boring life? Nothing exciting going on anymore? Sick of only doing what you have to do? Tired of the mundane routine? Well, hold up. We have the cure for you. That's right, LaSalle TV. With sports, news, game shows, and more, you'll be sure to find exactly what you've been needing. LaSalle TV. You know you watch.
LaSalle TV is the place to be. Want to be cool like us, this is the place to be.
Watching shows, gaining knowledge, this show is the best thing a part of this college.
Laced with faces, teach about fun. This place is basically for everyone.
It was cool talking to you, hope you enjoyed our flow. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our show.
Welcome back. Before we're joined by Frank Andriillo for some exploring headlines, the staff here at SportsLine wanted to direct your attention to an epidemic that is sweeping LaSalle's campus. A resounding number of students at 20th and Alny are not up to par with their LaSalle athletics knowledge. We sent out Madison and Anna Gomez to assess this grave situation. Ladies, take it away.
Hi, I'm Anna Gomez here in the Union Center to see how much students know about LaSalle and Philadelphia sports. Name one of the Big Five schools. Come on, you know this.
I don't.
Villanova.
Temple.
LaSalle. UPenn? UPenn.
Correct.
UPenn.
What was the final score for the homecoming game against Colgate?
It was
57-52 LaSalle.
Correct. Name a school in the A10 conference.
LaSalle. Can't. LaSalle.
LaSalle.
Dayton.
And what is the arena where the Big Five play?
The Big Five.
Starts with a P.
P. The Palestra?
I don't know.
The Palestra?
Are they playing at Wells Fargo? Palestra.
Correct. Name an anchor for LaSalle's favorite show on Explorer Sports.
Maddie Elliott.
Maddie Elliott is correct. Brendan.
Brittany?
Brendan Rigney.
Maddie.
Well, it seems our students are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to blue and gold athletics. I'm Anna Gomez. Back to you.
Good news is we're here to educate you on all things Explorer Sports. To help us keep you in the know this week, we are joined by Frank Andriola for Exploring Headlines. Take it away, Frank.
Thanks, guys. It appears LaSalle's men's basketball program is finally earning the national recognition it's spent years working for. That's right. The school has been named the host for the East Regional Championship for the NCAA 2016 tournament. LaSalle will work alongside the Wells Fargo Center in preparation for this event as 2016 date draws closer. Now let's talk athletes. The men's swim and dive team continues to dominate at meets. Excuse me a second. Thanks in no small part, recently named Rookie of the Week, Fabian Bergman. The Swedish import was given the A10 honor after winning 3 individual performances against George Mason, quite the overachiever. He also helped the 200-yard medley team take first. Junior Kelsey Jenkinson of the women's squad earned the A10 Performer of the Week, the South African native against Mason. Winning both the 100 and 200-yard breaststroke events, Jenkinson currently holds the LaSalle record for the 100-yard breaststroke with a time of 2.67.
Thanks for joining us, Frank. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Now that we've covered the past, let's look to the future. Tyler Harper brings us this week's marquee matchup, so take it away, Tyler.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Tyler Harper, here to tell you about one of the many exciting LaSalle sports matchups coming up this weekend. Well, it's that time of year again as men's basketball season is back into the swing of things here at LaSalle. After clawing out a tough 57-52 win against Colgate this past Saturday, the Explorers look to stay unbeaten at home as they take on the St. Peter's Peacocks this Saturday at the Gola. In order to earn the victory, the blue and gold are going to have to rely on 2 key instrumental players. Standing at 6'11" and 240 pounds, anyone who lays eyes on Steve Zack can see that he is a force to be reckoned with on the court. The senior from New Cumberland, PA, more than showed this with his stats last season, as he led the Atlantic 10 Conference with 9.5 rebounds per game. Zack pulled down 6 rebounds against Colgate last week and will need to do more of the same against the Peacocks. Also, we're hoping to see a few more 3-point buckets from the senior, who surprised everyone when he drained 2 from beyond the arc against Philly U. Another Explorer who will be instrumental to secure a win is redshirt sophomore Jordan Price. It's been a tale of 2 games from the transfer from Auburn. In the exhibition game against Philadelphia University, Price shined as he led the team with 16 points and hit 4 out of 7 shots from 3-point land. However, in the regular season opener against Colgate, Price was quieted on the court. He scored only 8 points while shooting a disappointing 1.167% from the field. Let's hope this inconsistent start can be blamed on homecoming nerves and that he can turn things around this Saturday. Now that we've highlighted some individuals who are instrumental to victory, let's take a look at what the blue and gold have to do as a team to defeat the Peacocks of St. Peter's in this week's Keys to the Game. The first key for the Explorers is not to rush their offensive possessions. A lot of LaSalle's offensive possessions were hurried and sporadic against Colgate. This could be partially due to the fact that in the preseason, the A10 tested a shot clock that was 5 seconds faster. However, when they slowed down their possessions and worked the defense to open lanes, they were able to make things happen offensively. If the Explorers can take a deep breath and limit the knee-jerk reactions on offense, they should be able to score more effectively. The final key to the game is to stay out of foul trouble. While this statement may seem obvious, LaSalle got into foul trouble early against both Philly U and Colgate, which forced Dr. Giannini to go to his bench earlier than he would have liked. In both matchups, Zach was subbed out within 10 minutes because of getting 2 quick fouls. He did return to the court, but there was a clear drop in skill and height while he wanted it out on the bench. Granted, some of these fouls were a result of hustle and good defense, but keeping the number of fouls to a minimum will be an important factor on Saturday. Well, that concludes this week's marquee matchup. The action starts this Saturday at 12:30 at the Tom Gola Arena. For SportsLine, I'm Tyler Harper. Go Explorers.
Yo, did you catch yesterday's baseball game?
Yeah, that homer in the third, so awesome.
I know, I'm so excited for the game tomorrow.
Me too.
Crazy.
Hey, where are the guys?
I don't know, they always take forever.
Eating nothing but salad and, of course, the caramel macchiato from Starbucks every day, but I think I'm losing some serious weight.
Steve, you're looking real good tonight, dude.
God, are you serious? I just feel a little bummed, but that coming from you, you're so perfect. So just thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
You ready to go? Yeah. We're going to take a pre-show selfie first.
Of course.
Jeez.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm losing some weight. You're looking thin, dude. Yeah, cheesy bag makes the weight go away. Wait, hold on. Here.
Finally, it took you guys so long.
Fix my hair.
Let's go, we're late.
LaSalle TV News, because the action never stops.